Hello, sinners, and hail Sappho. It's your hostess with the mostest, Narcissa DeVille, and welcome to another art video. This is technically part 2 of my Hazbin Hotel Angel Dust and Alistair or Radiodust inspired art pieces. As you can see, the original 2 are right behind me here. We have Alistair and Angel. I wanted to originally put them next to each other, and then I was like, oh, I'm going to put them like one on top of the other, and now my big head is in front of Angel's, so excuse me. So I'm going to be showing you the process of me making the second part, which is of course the part that is kind of both of them together, and then after that I'm going to take you through like the final masterpiece. So here we are with another project. This is part 2. This is kind of the combination of the two characters. I honestly had so much fun with this. I love first of all, these are very like Valentine's Day coded colors. And I love the way the pink and the red and the white mesh. I do kind of like watching this back, I do kind of wish I'd stuck to sort of the first half of this where it was a little more white. I think that was more of a contrast, but I do like how this ultimately ended up turning out. And I had so much fun with this project. I will say, I think I learned a lot from my first iteration of doing this and kind of exploring this. I think doing the outline of the stencils in pencil rather than doing them in, white marker was very much my best choice there, because I think I realized a lot, and I think it ended up ultimately making the project come out better because there was not the issue that I had where, there's all this white that's very stark, and then I have this outline that I can't get rid of. So doing it, I think, in pencil was the best strategy here. And yeah, I had so much fun blending the two characters together on the heart. Originally, when I came up with this idea, it was just going to be like the two hearts kind of like as separate pieces, like if the two heart canvases were going to be their own thing. And then as I decided, as I started actually like making the pieces, I decided, no, I kind of want to do the heart canvas, which is like the mesh of both of the characters. And so as I think these series goes on, and as I do more of these kind of fandom inspired pieces, I definitely think that I'm going to do more of them that are kind of the same concept of like, okay, this one is this one is going to be the two characters by themselves, and then there's going to be one piece that is the amalgamation of both of them. And I think this is definitely, I don't know if this is my favorite of the pieces. I definitely like each of them, all three pieces individually, for different reasons. I would say this is definitely one of my favorites. And you saw earlier in the clip, I was kind of like debating. I really wanted to like write, the ship name Radiodust on this somewhere, but it just didn't end up working out. The stencil that I had for the letters, the one that I was using, was a little bit too small, and it just didn't satisfy me the way I wanted it to. It didn't end up working out, so I just kind of decided to skip that. I do like to kind of keep in sometimes when I come up with an idea that I don't end up using, because I think it's important to also show that like sometimes I make a decision that maybe is not something that I end up going with, and that's okay. I think so much of this is a learning process. So much of this is like just exploring and seeing where things go and trying them out. And so it can be interesting to just kind of like, see where it takes you, because sometimes you don't know until you try it. Like sometimes you cannot know how you're going to feel about something or how you're going to feel about a concept or an idea until you actually just sit down and do it. So I really had a lot of fun with this project. I hope you guys enjoy watching this as much as I have enjoyed making it. Yeah, I've said it before. I think I said it in the last video. I have such a love for this pairing. I think there is something very, I don't know how to describe it. I think it's always like, the idea of the enemies to lovers is kind of that eternal thing for me. I think there's the idea of like, someone seeing you kind of at your worst, but also just seeing you in general. I made a whole kind of Tumblr post about my feelings about this particular pairing, and it scratches a certain itch for me that I've had for many, many years of just like, someone who can see all the worst sides of you that maybe you're not even the most proud of and still love you anyway. I think is like the ultimate romantic statement. And I don't know. That's really just what this is to me. So I love the idea of them, together like this. I love the combination. Again, I love that it's very Valentine's Day coded. I love that this is, very red and just, it's so red and pink, excuse me. Something about it is just really, really pretty. And yeah, so I think one of the things too is like when I think about these characters kind of, together and individually, I think there's a lot of things that maybe, you can read a lot more into them than what's on the surface, right? I think when you think about, the characters by themselves and kind of what the show presents, it's very, very clear to me that like Angel is very, sensitive. He puts on this bravado, he puts on this mask of like, I have to do this because of what his life in hell is. And I think Alistair is very much the same way, and there's just something about someone who can like look past the version of you that you show everyone else, because we all kind of do that, like whether we know we're doing it or not, or whether we mean to do it or not, we all do that thing where you hide behind certain things and certain ideas of yourself because it's safer that way. I did that a lot in high school, I know, because it was like I wasn't happy and I didn't really necessarily know why. That's a whole other thing. But I love the idea of like these characters kind of getting to show that side of themselves that maybe no one else gets to see. And I don't know, I feel like for these two in particular, it just feels like there's so much of them that is very, very similar. And I do feel like the show has very much done a disservice not to at least have them like interact. I just feel like there's a lot we're missing because of that. And again, I've said this before. I've made many a Tumblr post about this at this point. So like, it's kind of beating a dead horse or whatever. But I just feel like it's such a missed opportunity, and I think that's a shame. I also really had fun towards the end of this project. I decided to add in Alistair's tendrils into the background again, and I had so much fun with it, and I decided to do one where his tendril kind of makes a heart because I thought that would be super cute. So yeah, ultimately I'm really happy with this. I think it turned out so much better than I was expecting, and it's very much a trust the process moment. Okay, can I just say, like, here's the thing, right? It's still a little bit wet, but that's okay. Here's the thing. When I first started this whole thing, I was really like, I was so excited for the concept that was like in my head. And then I was like, as I was making it, I was nervous for the reality. But now that it's done, I have to say I am in love with all of these pieces. I think the individual pieces themselves are a lot of fun. I especially really love Alistair's. I do love Angel's for different reasons, but I love how Alistair's ended up coming out. There's so many different elements that I was like nervous for when I was first creating it. And now that it's done, I'm like, I actually really, really love this. And the same with Angels. There were different reasons why I was nervous, but then now that it's done, I love it. And then for both of them together, I had so much fun with the initial like pour of this and making, you know, the pink and the white and the red. You know, it's very Valentine's Day coded, I think, their colors naturally. And so kind of getting this opportunity to play around in that, I think, was a lot of fun. I also love that I learned a lot from the first one that I put into making this one. I decided to use pencil for the kind of like all the different things that I was outlining so that I wouldn't have an issue that I had the first time, which was that, you know, it just ended up looking totally ridiculously. And so it was like a whole big thing for me because I did it in like white marker. And as you can see, there's like this outline that I don't really like. It was fine on this. And it was fine on the rest of this, but I don't like this part overall. I wish I could have like erased that. So having you know, having done this in pencil, I think was the right choice for this. I really love how this came out. And I love the whole series, the whole set together. I think they all work very well together. I think they work independently of each other. And I think that's kind of the most important thing with this project is I wanted something that like all of them could feel cohesive together, but also cohesive a little bit apart too. Absolutely just love the details on this. I love the tendrils of Alistair's that are kind of coming out, and then the one that made a little heart. I love the, you know, accents of Angel Spiderweb. I love the, you know, glowing heart. And I do love, of course, I don't know, I think all of it really just works for me. I'm really, really proud of this. I'm really proud of how this came out. I'm having so much fun with this series so far and like doing art as like a video. So I'm hoping that you guys are having fun too. And yeah, let me know what you think. Tell me your thoughts. I'd love to hear them. And who do you want to see next? I'm leaning towards Fizz and Oz just because I really have a special sweet spot in my heart for them. And I am writing a fanfic that is kind of both of them, but also a little bit of Radiodust in the background. So, you know, I am partial to that right now. But I am also very, very partial to Crowley Nazirville. So I'm kind of open to whatever. This is part 2. This is my final piece in this. I'm just so in love with it and so proud of it. So yeah, I think what I'm going to end up doing, to be honest with you, is I'm going to take some pictures of like the individual pieces and then I'm going to like have those up. And then I'm probably going to take the 2 big ones and put them like in my room. And then just the heart-shaped ones will be kind of all around me because I think that's a little more fun. I like the 2 of them together a little bit more, if that makes sense. But yeah, so that's that. I cannot believe I had so much fun with this and I cannot wait to do more of these. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up, comment down below, tell me what is your thoughts on the final piece. What is, you know what, I'd love to hear what your favorite fanfic is for this pairing. If you have any, maybe I haven't read it yet. I would love to see your guys' thoughts. I know there are some very popular ones that are like, kind of get mentioned to me all the time. One of which I've read part of. I have not read the whole thing of because I kind of like lost my place at one point because my computer restarted and then I could not get back to my place and it just annoyed me too much. So I stopped trying to figure out where I was. Subscribe to this channel. You can also become a member of this channel. We have 2 tiers, the Ineffable tier and the Our Side tier. The Ineffable tier, you do get special emotes when I do go live, and the Our Side tier, you do get early access, behind the scenes, all that fun stuff. You can also become a member of my Patreon, patreon.com/NarcissaDeville. That is my members only channel, and I will be doing exclusive kind of members only behind the scenes stuff, special videos that are just on Patreon. So please do feel free to join me there. And until next time, stay devilish and see you next Tuesday.